Hello students, this is Pallav sir and I hope everyone is doing good. Now in this session I will start a new exercise, that is 9.3, and I will explain all the sums of question number 1. Now let us see what we have to do in question number 1 of exercise 9.3. We have to carry out the multiplication of the expressions. Now before we get on with all the sums of question number 1, we have to understand that what are the expressions given in each sum of question number 1. So there are two types of expressions given, students. So what are those expressions? The first expression is monomial and the another one is binomial. Okay, now we have already studied about this monomial and binomial expressions in our previous exercise. So let me just recap on these two expressions. Now what is monomial? So monomial is an expression which has only one term, students. Only one term. So we can talk about some example. Now what are the examples we can give? That is 12x or just x or 4x square, or we can say xy. These are all monomial example, or we can say 7xy also. This is also an example of monomial. Now what about binomial then? A binomial has only two terms. Fine, two terms. Now mono means one, bino means two. Okay, remember this is a very important thing. So our expressions which is having only two terms is called binomial. So what are the examples we can discuss under this? So we can say 2x plus 3, we can say 4x square plus y, or we can say x square plus y square as well. So in each of the expressions you see there are two monomials are there, and this all monomials are separated by this mathematical operation, that is either by plus or by minus. So the two monomials will be separated by either plus or by minus. Okay, so these are all examples of binomial and these are all examples of monomial. Now let's do the first sum of question number 1. Now let's go to the next page. Yes, now what is there in sum number 1 of question number 1? So let me write the question. So it is given 4p comma q plus r. Now how many expressions are given? Two expressions, that is one is this and another one is this. So this 4p is monomial, this is monomial, students, and this expression is called binomial. Fine. So now we will learn how to multiply monomial with binomial. Very important thing, students, and this is so important that you will require all this knowledge in the higher classes as well. So be attentive, learn properly. Now what is the first step that you have to do? The first step, you have to write the monomial, then you put a multiplication sign, then you put a bracket, students, and inside the bracket you have to write the binomial term. So this is the most important step that you have to do in the beginning. Now how to multiply? Now with this monomial you have to first multiply the first expressions written inside the bracket, that is with q, and again you have to multiply this monomial, that is 4p, with the second expressions written inside the bracket. Now how to multiply? That is 4p into, we have to write this 4p into q. Okay, be careful with this sign, students. Now what is the sign that this 4p is having? That is, say on the left hand side, no sign. You will say, so there is no sign, but if there is no sign, it means that there is a plus sign is there. So we have to multiply this plus sign with this sign, students. Very important concept I am giving. So plus and plus will give us plus only. Now we will again multiply this 4p with this r. Okay, now what is the product of these two terms? So we have only one number, so 4 ones are 4, because q is having one numeral coefficient. And what is the product of p and q? It will be pq only, isn't it? Now we'll put this plus sign. Now again, when we multiply 4 with r means what? 1r. So r is having a numeral coefficient as 1, isn't it? So 4 into 1 is 4, and p into r is pr. Okay, so this is the product of the first sum. Fine, this is how you have to do, and this is how you have to multiply monomial with binomial. Okay, now let's do the second sum of question number 1. So it is written AB comma A minus B. Now I hope everyone knows. Now this expression is, yes, monomial. This expression is monomial. And what is this expression? It is binomial. Now what we have to do? We have to first write the monomial term, then we have to put multiplication sign, and then we have to give bracket, and inside the bracket we have to write this binomial term, isn't it? Now what is the first thing we have to do? That is, we will multiply AB with this A, isn't it? We will multiply this AB, this A. So AB into A. Now what sign AB is having? Plus sign. If there is no sign, means you have to consider this as plus sign. Now we will multiply this plus sign with this minus sign. So plus minus minus, absolutely. Now we will multiply AB with this B. So AB into B. Now let's multiply. So as there is no numeral coefficient is there, so we'll see that if there is any similar numbers or you can say coefficients are there or not, or variables are there or not. So A into A would be what? A squared. There is only one B, so we'll write only B. Now if you multiply A, there is no A's there, so we'll just write 1A. B into B, there is 2 B's there, so we'll write B squared. So this is the final solution of sum number 2, students. Now let's move on to sum number 3. So this is sum number 3. What is there in sum number 3? A plus B comma 7A square B square. Now can you all guess which is a binomial and monomial? Absolutely, I know that many of you knows this. So A plus B is a binomial, and 7A square B square will be considered as monomial, is a monomial. Now always remember, if in the question binomial term is written first and the monomial term is written in the second part, then you are always supposed to write the monomial term at first, and then you have to put a multiplication sign, and then inside the bracket you have to write the binomial term. So this is the order that you have to maintain. Doesn't matter that what is written first in the question, but what I said, that first of all what you have to write? You have to write the monomial term first, then you have to give the multiplication sign, then you have to put the bracket, and inside the bracket you will put the binomial term. So this is the order that you have to always maintain. Now what is the second thing that you have to do? You have to multiply this monomial with the first expression inside the bracket. Yes, that is A. So 7A square B square into A. Now what sign 7A square B square is having? Plus sign. So plus and this plus. So what is the product of this two sign? Plus plus is plus. And then again you have to multiply this 7A square B square with the second expression inside the bracket. So that is 7A square B square into B. Exactly. Now what we have to do? Now we have to multiply this two thing, and again we have to multiply these two terms as well. So what is the product of these two terms? So we have no numbers, that means A is having 1 as a numeral coefficient, so 7 ones are 7. A square into A, that means how many A's altogether are there? 3 A's. So we'll write A cube, and there's only B square is there, so we'll write B square here. Now again we have to see that any numeral coefficient is there or not. Only 7 we are having, so 7 we'll write it down. So a square, how many a's are there? Only 2, so we'll write a square only. And altogether how many b's are there? So we have 2 here and 1 here, so altogether we have 3b. That means what is the final answer? 7a cube b square plus 7a square b cube. Okay, I hope all of you have understood. Now let's move on to the last sum of today's session, that is sum number 4, students. So what we have in sum number 4? We have, just a minute, students. Yes. So we have a square minus 9, then comma is given, and then 4a. Okay, now again we can observe that the binomial term is written at first. So this is a binomial term, this is a binomial term, and this is a monomial term given. So again binomial term is written at first and monomial after that. So but what we have to do, which order we have to maintain? We have to first write the monomial term, that is 4a, then we have to put a multiplication sign, then you have to put a bracket, and inside the bracket you have to write the binomial term. So this is the order, students, you have to always maintain. Be very careful. Now what we have to do next, that is 4a into a square. We will write 4a into a square. Now which sign? 4a is having plus sign, and which sign is there inside the bracket? That is plus minus, this is minus. Now we'll multiply this 4a with the second expressions written in the inside the bracket. So that is 4a into 9. Absolutely right. Now we have to multiply 4, so there is only one numerical coefficient, that is only 4, so we'll write 4 here. How many a's are there? We have 1, and here we have 2. So altogether how many a? There are 3 a's, isn't it? Now again we'll multiply the numerical coefficients first. So we have 4 here and 9 here. Now 4 into 9 is what? 36. And how many a's are there altogether? Only 1 a, students. So this is the solution of sum number 4, and this was the last sum of today's session. I hope all of you have understood all the sums properly. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. God bless you and take care, everyone.